Ian O'Brien here, just taking a walk in the hills in Cyprus because we split our time, me and my small family, we split our time between England and Cyprus and a half and half of the year. And so here we are. Check out this view. It's a bit blurry now. You can see the sea in the distance and the village. Let's keep it this way, but I wanted to ask you a question. What do you think it feels like to be a teenager in the 70s and really wanting to learn to play the guitar, trying again when you're in your 30s, trying eventually when you get to retirement age and not being able to do it, feeling like maybe it's something you're not going to be able to do, and your wife's seen you try over this period of time and she thinks, yeah, you've tried before, you know you're not going to be able to do it. What do you think it feels like to go from that to 1 year's time spent learning the guitar and being able to play over 30 complete songs all the way through, confidently singing and playing? If you don't know what that feels like, definitely pay attention to this. I'm sitting down today with Mick Baker to have a chat about his experience over the last year learning to play. Thanks for joining us, Mick.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for the invite. Looking forward to it.
Lovely stuff. So first up, what was your motivation originally for wanting to play the guitar? Like, where were you at with that?
I think there's probably been two or three over the years. Originally, like with a lot of other people out there, I'm sure, when I was a teenager, I was sort of like late 70s, early 80s sort of period, and I wanted to be a rock star, like you do. It's just that's where I was when I grew up, and I tried all sorts. I had two or three different electric guitars. I had acoustic guitar, but unfortunately, I hadn't got a clue how to play them. There were books available, but couldn't make head or tail of those. So I thought, no. And it just stopped there, really. Then later, a lot later in life, my daughter decided she wanted to play guitar. Well, I buy her a guitar, which is the electric guitar behind me, which is now probably about 20 years old. And she did start learning how to play it by herself, no lessons. And I would say within a month, maybe, she was actually playing James Blunt, You're Beautiful. She picked it out herself. And she learnt it, played that, put it away, and it never came out again. It went in the bag and never ever came out again. And now, since my daughter's left home, gone off to pastures new, we've redecorated the room. It's become my little man cave, if you like, my little playroom. And my wife was saying, we need to sell the guitar. I said, no, don't sell the guitar. I might want to learn how to play it one day. And this was maybe 3 years ago now. And I said, what we will do, though, we'll redecorate and we'll leave the guitar out, because if I'm looking at it one day, I'll have the courage to pick it up and have another go. And that happened about 18 months ago when I was looking at it thinking, I'm not sure. And eventually I picked it up and tried strumming a little bit, and it didn't go brilliantly well. And I thought, I don't even know how to tune it. And then because I didn't have any confidence, I didn't know what I was doing as such. I'd got a chord book, but didn't know much else. I didn't want to plug it into an amplifier. Probably didn't want to feel embarrassed. And so I just played it without it plugged in. I was just playing chords out of a chord book. There was no structure to it. It was just play this chord, play that chord. And I did it over and over again for a few months. And then in 2023, when I reached a significant year, I treated myself to an acoustic guitar thinking, I'll play that because I can play it quieter. Without having to plug it in, I can play it quiet. So I bought the guitar, and when I got it home, I realised acoustic guitars aren't quiet. They're really not. they can be as loud as you like. And I thought, yeah, okay, so just playing it quietly. And again, it went on for a couple more months, and I was just playing the same chords over and over again, trying to make tunes up that it just wasn't happening. Another part that led me to learning the guitar was retirement. People were asking me, what are you going to do in your retirement? And I said, well, I haven't got plans to do anything, just continuing what I do now, which was I cycle a lot, I play tennis a lot, I like to go hiking and reading. I said, I'm happy doing that. I said, but there will be something that I'm going to say, I want to get involved in this. And 5 years later, it happened. It was the process. It is learning how to play the guitar. And it has overtaken. It's just part of my life. It's just become my go-to every day. It is now my interest. I've found it. In all those years of wondering what it would be, it was the guitar.
So good. No, that's incredible. So where you were picking up the guitar for a few months, playing some chords, wasn't necessarily going anywhere, didn't feel like it was going anywhere. Where sort of were you when you got in touch, when we first had a chat? Like, what was the sort of impetus behind that?
What it was, I then contacted you and we had the chat, and straight away from that chat, I knew you could give me what I needed, because throughout all of my working life, I've had structure around me. And what hit me straight off from having the chat with you and you explaining to me how the process worked, it was a process and it was structured, where you'd got stages to follow it through, keep on following it through, and then there's an end goal where you're going to meet whatever targets you might have set for yourself or with yourself. Mm-hmm. And that was it, really. The big thing for me was structure. You call it white pick, yellow pick, orange pick, green pick, blue pick. So in the world of those who do martial arts, it's a similar way of grading when you do white belt, yellow belt, green belt, and so on and so forth. It becomes more difficult or more challenging, shall I say, as you progress through the levels. But you can use those levels to develop your skills that will then enhance moving on into further progression.
Yeah, great. So the structure was big, and you mentioned goals. And what on that first conversation, that first chat that we had together, we set a couple of goals, and what my suggestion was, we set a couple of them, but for a year's time, the sort of big goal was to be confidently playing between 20 to 30 songs, which was sort of where we were at that point in time, and we embarked on this journey together to get playing. So yeah, what's your take on that? Like, what's your experience? I mean, I know, of course, but share with everyone. What's your experience been like over the last year, working together with the process?
It's been fantastic. I can't say any more than it's been absolutely brilliant. From where I was, even through the 12 months to where I am now, has been absolutely, for me, it was an eye-opener, and I didn't realise that I could do what I can do. Because there's always doubters. My wife, and said, I'm going to go and learn the guitar. Oh, you wanted to learn the guitar? You've tried lots of times before. I said, no, I've got time on my hands. I've got the drive to want to do it. I've invested in a new guitar. I need to know how to play it and play it properly and not through guesswork. And the process has absolutely just simply delivered on every level. So I started at white pick, and the white pick, which is the Django chord system, which is very much routing two fingers to two strings, and they just stay there throughout. So you develop the movement and chords by only having to move two fingers. And that really got me going. And there were six Django chords, and all of a sudden I was playing music. I was playing the guitar, and I thought, these songs that I'm learning, I recognise it. I'm playing it. I recognise the tune. It's all coming together. I'm thinking, I can play the guitar, and I still do it now. I have a big daft smile on my face because I'm playing music that I recognise. And in passing, because no one's actually sat with me and listened to me playing, but in passing, my wife will say, "Oh, was that such and such you were just playing then? And was that the theme to the Royal Family you've just been playing?" And I said, "Oh, yes, it was." But the Django chord system, which, and I think at the time I'd set a bit of a record. I think I went through the Django white pick in 4 weeks. And within the 4 weeks, I was playing 5 songs at white pick level. Yeah. And of which one I still play. I still do it. My first song was Zombie.
Great.
And I still play it using the Django chords.
I was going to ask you that. That's so good. To put this in context, because when we talk about white pick level, there's the modules for white pick level, and working together through that to get the chords, get the changes, get them clean and clear and fast. And that's what under some of the stuff we do in the Django chord system, getting alignment with the guitar, getting them clear. But then there's also learning and developing the other hand, a series of rhythms, how you're holding the pick, etc. And then there's actually, of course, the real thing, bringing those two hands together and learning a series of songs. So you didn't just sort of do the Django chord system in a month. You hit the record like very impressively to be the fact that you were playing like 5 or 6, you said, complete songs in the first month. That's phenomenal. And like you said, you have more time than some people to pick up the guitar, but it's definitely the record. It wasn't just the Django chords. It was 5 songs.
Yeah. But I don't think, I'm not going to put it all on me. Yes, I did it, but I couldn't have done it without the structure within that white pick level. How to hold a guitar, how to hold a pick. Because I'd got no idea. I was doing it all wrong. So I put that right. And then just chord by chord by chord progression, minute movements, all these things. It's so fundamental. It gives you the grounding to be able to move 2 fingers to make the 6 different chords, which then will lead on when you progress to the yellow pick and the open chord, the anchor system. And again, it just it flows, but it only flows, my opinion, and it worked for me, is if you follow the structure. It's there for a reason, and it's there to help you to learn, to progress, and reach your goal of playing guitar, making music, and having a big daft smile on your face while you're doing it. It's brilliant.
Cool.
I can't help it. I mean, I know it's been 12 months and I have, I'm playing standing up and all sorts now. But I'll play I'm walking around the room with a big daft smile on my face playing music.
Great. That's something that I see has been really significant with your kind of journey, your guitar learning journey. It's not been just sort of the mechanics, like the changing of the chords, the strumming and stuff. Like I saw a big shift when we started getting more, kind of embodying it more. When we went through that, the levels of kind of coaching you through taking your eyes away from your hands, and you began playing with your eyes closed a lot.
Yeah.
Feeling your way through what you were doing and hearing what you're doing, and that taking you into this kind of the happy place, the big smile.
And I still do. I still play now predominantly standing up, and most of the time with my eyes closed, which is careful. I have to remove any trip hazards anywhere, but if I'm going walkabouts, I might still have my eyes closed and just bump into something. But yeah, it's just the way I play, because now, instead of looking at what my fretting hand's doing, wondering what's happening with my strumming hand, I now rely on listening to what I'm doing rather than watching what I'm doing. And it takes the mechanics out of it. Now, yeah, I'll hit a wrong chord or have the finger on the wrong string or something, but because you're hearing it, thinking that didn't sound right, you just, and I do it without looking, you just, oh, hang on a minute, just drop the finger down one string or up one string or wherever it might be, or move it a fret, and you, oh, that's it now. And the muscle memory, it does happen. You just do it. I'm changing chords now without thinking about it.
So good. Yeah, it was a big leap in your musicality, and you've really embraced
it. For me, it did it for me because it forced me in a way to think about where my fingers were on the fretboard rather than watching. Because while I was watching what was happening, there was then a delay to what this hand was doing, because I'm spending more time thinking about this finger needs to be there and that finger needs to be there than actually making the chord and making the sound. So there was always a bit of a delay.
It's a big part of it. Some of this stuff, it's not, like you said, it's not the mechanics of it. It's kind of somewhere beyond that. And that's where the musicality really came together. And then in conjunction with that, the not needing to look, following it through with how it sounds and how it feels, the musicality really leapt up. And then having that when you started standing up and having the freedom to just kind of wander around in it, so much expressiveness there. And if you watch any guitar player that you like playing the guitar, like on stage or anything, it's not just these hands moving and they're sort of still there. There's a lot of freedom to come from the whole body just kind of meandering around, and it really comes out in the music, and it really comes out in how you engage with it, how you feel about it. And so we talked a little bit about the White Pick level and your progress you made through that. It was a massive, straight out of the gate, quick month of progress. And you've been consistent with it. I mean, it hasn't all been simple songs. We've dived into some stuff that's pretty complex and pretty sophisticated and things. But you went on from White Pick level to Yellow Pick level, of course. That would be next. Yeah. And you're doing 11 songs.
I think it was 11 songs at Yellow Pick.
Can you think of
which I still play now, and I think maybe all bar 2 of those I still play now. I don't use the chord sheets now, because that's the other thing that I've found. I'll learn a song and I'll be looking at the chord sheet. I'll learn it, and I don't know, after I don't know, a couple of days, I just then practice that song without looking at the chord sheet, because it's just there. Sometimes it's a quick glance to say, what was that middle 8 again? Because the middle 8 always seems to be a little bit more complicated. It certainly helps me because I'm not looking down at a chord sheet anymore. I'm still walking around the room with my eyes closed, trying not to bump into things, playing it rather than reading it.
That's it. They're all stages of getting further from the mechanics, further from holding it all in your sort of working memory, to it being something that you embody, that you have, that's kind of deeper rooted down. It's not like you look at a chord sheet, you play the song a few times, you learn it, and then you put the sheet away and you can just play it. There is a crucial stage, isn't there, in between, where you're learning without the chord sheet. You're learning from recalling the song, and it's really getting sort of embedded in just being able to do it. But they're all degrees of freedom, more degrees of expression. Like there's a run of them that we've been through.
It all comes round. Every level complements itself, because what you learn at White Pick level, you'll still be using at yellow, orange, green and blue levels.
That's one of the really great things about working together with you, is that you're often looking for guidance on the feedback is a really big part of your progress here. But one of the things that you do, which I think is great, is you're often asking me, what would be good songs to do next, or some options for songs to do next based on the skill set you're developing and where you're going and how
Yeah,
they're connected to what we're learning so far. So we get this continual sense of progress, this sweet spot, and the stuff that we've learned before is coming back in the stuff that we're learning. I think it's a simple thing, but I think it's really important that we, and it goes back to what you said at the beginning, it's about having structure, but it allows us to put in place a structure that's very personal to your tastes in music as well.
yeah, yeah, it is. And as much as I'm playing a lot of songs now that I wouldn't have dreamt of learning how to play, had it not been for obviously yourself in the process, but a big part of this whole learning phase is the community. They're an inspiration in themselves because they play things that I think I wouldn't have dreamt of learning how to play that. And I just think, I quite like that. It happened at yellow pick level when Martin was learning how to play Lola.
Mm.
And I never even thought about learning how to play Lola. But as he was demonstrating it and asking for feedback during the mentorship calls, I just thought, I quite like that riff. That's interesting. So I went off and learned how to play Lola, and I still play it now. And a similar thing has happened. I think it was Ginny had posted within the community a video of her playing Wonderful World, which again, I've never ever thought about playing it. But when I broke it down, it was the Everyman pattern, which I'm familiar with. And I would say, because I knew the rhythm and I knew the chords, I was probably playing Wonderful World within 30 minutes because it was already there. You've already learnt it in other songs, and all you do is just use it in another one. And it's such a great feeling when you can just pick it up and think, well, I know how that works, and I know how that works. Go. And it was fantastic. My challenge is where I see myself over the next period of time is more about developing not so much the mechanics of everything, but developing the musicality, bringing out more technique, more expression. I think that's where I see myself over the next few months.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. I think there are a few things, but I think it's everything is nestled within that, within what you're saying, because you've come through
Yeah,
white pick level, you've come through yellow, you've come through orange as well. Like you're pretty, deep into orange pick level in terms of songs. Like you've done more songs at orange pick level than any of the other levels, haven't you?
yeah. I'm playing at around about 18 or 20 songs now at Orange Pit level, and probably about 15 of those without the chord sheet. My practice predominantly it's daily. It's the guitar's picked up every day. Um, More often than not, it's well over an hour a day at a time because I just get lost in it. If I'm pushed for time, it's at least 10 minutes because you can pick up and practice and learn a lot in 10 minutes. I'll start by, I'll give the old knuckles a good stretching out first, just to warm the knuckles up. And then I'll play some open chord sequences again, just to get the fingers moving. Then I'll play a song with maybe the Everyman, get the strumming hand going. Play another song that I know with maybe the Miss 2 or something like that. I'll also play a song that uses the capo, so I get used to, and don't forget that the capo can, not saying it does, but when you first play with a capo, it feels like there's something in the way, but it's getting used to it being there, and you just get around it and it's fine. So I'll do that. Then I will spend a good half an hour to an hour. Right, okay, concentrate on now, new song, I need to learn this. The song lessons for me are key, the chord sheets are key. The structure is key because you can keep on revisiting, keep going back to it. And the other thing is the mentorship calls. I love them. I think they're great. And you might have picked up, but I make notes. Every lesson I'm making notes.
Yeah.
Because quite often, and I think it's been mentioned before in the course, it's not the question that you ask, it's the questions that others are asking that you get an awful lot of benefit from as well.
Yeah, like the sort of unknown stuff. There's the things you haven't thought to
Yeah.
ask that are gonna affect
Yeah.
what's happening with your playing. Yeah, absolutely. I find that with the mentorship calls as well, there's a couple of things we've worked on specifically, haven't we? Aside from the questions other people have asked, what kind of things do you feel have been the most beneficial that I've kind of guided you through in terms of mentorship?
One that sticks in my mind is the syncopated rhythms, because I remember picking it up on, I think it was Lola, when I was learning Lola, and I posted a video of playing it. I'd not been playing it long, but I'd play a bar, then there'd be a gap and a play a bar, then there'd be a gap and a play a bar, because of the two different rhythms going along with each other. What happened then on the call, you were talking about the gap, which I sort of knew was there, but wasn't absolutely conscious of, if you like. And what you were saying is, when you finish the bar, the next beat is just a continuation. So the two different strumming patterns are joined together. There isn't a gap between them, it's a continuation. And that I've managed to keep on going through all the songs I've been learning, where I try and remember, there's not a gap, move into the next bar. There's not a gap, move into the next bar. And then the syncopated rhythms, they just come together over time. It just happens for me now. Other things that have been beneficial over these last 12 months, what was apparent and what was coming through the mentorship calls were people struggling with recording themselves and posting things within the community, or playing live, if you like, in front of somebody. And you did a series of clinics on the red eye syndrome, the red dot syndrome, when that recording button comes on, and all of a sudden the things that you're practicing, you're playing really well, the red light comes on and it just all goes out the window. It's a bundle of nothing. That helped a lot, how to center myself, how to be in the moment, and just sort of like just concentrate really on just playing music, regardless of where it's recorded or not. Forget that the red light's there. That helped. And there was another clinic about singing, which I'd not done since school. I have sung, I think, about 5 songs, I think. Yeah. But for me, my priority was all about learning how to play the guitar, to become a guitar player. However, since then, because I've achieved so much in these last 12 months, it feels like it's another natural step to complete the whole song by actually singing it.
That's definitely it's the big, not fully explored area yet that I really think we should do over the next year, because you've made good headway. Like, I remember you were doing, is it Nebraska, that we worked on singing and playing. There was Lola. You did Mad World at the beginning.
Yeah. Mad World. Well. There was a big thing on Mad World at the time, if you recall. Everyone was doing it. But it's a great song to learn with, because it's just the 4 down strums. It's always on the beat, and it's really, really good to be able to just sing along to it. So that was fine. I did Mad World. I did Lola. I've done Nebraska. Blowing. What's the Dylan one? Blowing in the Wind.
And there's Fleetwood Mac.
And again, Dylan doesn't interest me in the slightest. And when I first looked at the Dylan song and tried learning it, it wasn't for me. I wasn't that keen on it. We had the talk about it on the call, and we agreed, if you don't like it, ditch it. So I do ditch things, but I keep the chord sheets. And then I was going through the chord sheet and thought, this Dylan, I'll give it another go. And I think because I'd developed a bit more, I'd learnt a bit more, and then I was playing it. And I thought, why did I ditch it? So I sang that, and there was another one I sang. Oh, what was it now? The River. I did parts of the River, but I haven't done it in total. I haven't done the whole thing.
And Fleetwood Mac, you did Don't Stop. These are all areas like with your original aim of becoming a person who can play the guitar. It's undeniable that you are that person. You can do that. So, like you said, it's time for us to go deeper into some of these things. It's not a small thing having like 5 songs that you can sing and play. It's not a small thing putting the camera on, being comfortable running through a song and playing that. It's not a small thing not looking at your hands and being able to like internalize a complete song so you're not looking at the sheet. Like they're really big deals, and they're all beyond that sort of mechanical stuff with it. But also the other thing we haven't talked about is you've made some good headway. Not as many songs as you're strumming, but you're finger picking too.
I've only done a couple of finger picking. The first one was When September Ends. I played Hallelujah at white level. I played Hallelujah at yellow level. I've played Hallelujah, and still do, at orange level. And finger pick Hallelujah at orange level.
There we go.
So sort of like 4 different versions. And I don't do it often, but sometimes I'll just sit down quietly and think, I'll have a finger pick of this Hallelujah. And again, I end up with a big daft smile on my face because I just think I'm making music. I'm playing a song that I've liked for years. I've enjoyed listening to Leonard Cohen for donkey's years, and to be able to play one of his tunes was great.
Yeah.
So more finger picking to come, I think. I think the big ones that I've got on the horizon: Hotel California and Wish You Were Here.
Lovely.
Which are a goal for probably October of this year, if I can get it done by then. But obviously, there's a path that I need to follow. So I think to dive straight into those might be actually just slow down, step by step, and ask you for some advice on how to progress finger picking without it being too difficult. I don't mind challenges, but not a challenge that at this point of time is you'd never achieve it.
No, you're ready for songs like that, and they are picked, but they're not necessarily finger picked. We can play them with the plectrum. They're the way both of those songs are originally played. It's you're plucking the individual notes of the chords on key parts of the songs, but with the pick, with the plectrum. So we can lean into that stuff. But you're at that level for sure. They're not sort of 1 week songs. They're bigger.
No.
I don't know. Seeing how quickly you move through some things, we might have a pretty reasonable version at that time, and then we'll be refining. But yeah, you're at that. You're at orange, and over the next year, we're going to venture into green pick level. We're going to get those power chords really solid.
Yeah,
we're going to build into the bars as well as developing your finger style, as well as getting really confident with the singing and stuff. For sure.
Yeah, there'll be an exciting year to come. I'm on a roll. I need to just keep on moving now.
Yeah, your progress is fantastic, because you haven't just covered a lot of material. You've covered it with depth and musicality, which is sometimes what happened. Is what is sacrificed in covering quickly, but you haven't. You've gone deep into it. You're really playing that stuff. Like I'm really pleased with your progress. I'm really impressed. Like you've put in the work. You've got there, and you bear with me when I'm bringing up something that's maybe not the obvious way to go about things sometimes, and coming back to certain things when we spent a little while, when your strumming was great and you were playing loads of songs and you had a lot of power to it, and I persisted on the development of the wrist in relation to that, and that, like, it's your strumming is great. Like, it's taken you to a level of expressiveness.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the wrist, and the wrist has come back. It must have disappeared for a while because when I posted the video, I think it was last week, of my first ever white pick level video of Zombie, and I watched it and I thought, I'm using the wrist. Why am I using the wrist? I don't use the wrist because all my strumming comes from the elbow. But now I've got the wrist back again. That's come back. So what I can see at Zombie disappeared for a little while, and then I watched the video of Ziggy and it's come back again.
Yeah, you would not. Ziggy's a really good example. You would not really be able to play Ziggy without a really good approach to strumming. Like, it's just the way he plays, and of course you have a really good approach to strumming. It's fantastic. Yeah. So we're talking about picking the guitar up more than an hour a day, typically.
Every day. If I've not picked it up, I feel like I've missed something. So, yeah.
So between 1 and 2 hours a day, over a year, you're now playing. You're not looking at the guitar. You're not looking at sheets for a lot of them. A handful of them you're playing and singing. At least one you're playing fingerstyle. And you're playing what? Between 30 and 35 songs.
Yeah, I've done a quick tally up. I'm doing 34 songs and 28 of those without referring to the chord sheet.
Excellent. Fantastic. So you exceeded the goals that I set when we first spoke, when I said 20 to 30 songs, which is incredible. Yeah, really well done. What as a sort of parting, what advice would you give to somebody who was where you were a year ago? Don't feel like you're making progress. You got some chords. You do want to play the guitar.
You need to be able to pick the guitar up daily. Even if it's only for 5 or 10 minutes. In those 5 or 10 minutes, you'll learn an awful lot. And what you've learned new, when you play it the next day and the next day, will just improve and improve and improve. And in a few short days, you'll be playing chords, you'll be leading into songs, moving up levels. But you won't do that without picking the guitar up every day, even if it's only for 5 or 10 minutes. If you've got an hour, great. But put the time and effort in. You've got to invest in yourself and your ability, because with the coaching, with your tuition, with the process and the structure, all the tools are there to learn to play the guitar. I think it's been brilliant, and it's worked for me. Undoubtedly, it's worked for me. The whole process has delivered.
Lovely. Cool. Here's to another great year of progress.
What would it be and would you call it to his face? If you were faced with him in all his glory, what would you ask if you had just one question? Yeah, God is great. Yeah, God is good. Yeah, what if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus trying to make his way home. If God had a face, what would it look like and would you want to see? If seeing then you would have to believe in things like heaven and in Jesus and the saints and all the prophets. And yeah, God just trying to make his way home. I got to heaven all alone. Nobody calling on the phone, except for the Pope, maybe in Rome. Nobody calling on the phone, except for the Pope, maybe in Rome.
And there we have it. You can really see through Mick's story his transition from a hope-based guitar learner to what he is now, an inevitable guitar player. It's just part of his life, as he said, picking up the guitar every day, comfortably playing complete songs all the way through, singing and playing songs with finger picking, etc., etc. If you want to have this experience, if you want to move from a hope-based guitar learner, unsure whether it's really going to come together and you're ever actually going to be able to do this, to an inevitable guitar player, click the link below this video and you'll be able to see a video about how I'm mentoring, teaching my students through the guitar process to achieve exactly that. So see you in the next one.